Here are some power words: racism, sexism, misogyny, Islamophobia, bigot. These are just 5 hot topic words. These are power words that I see used towards people who actually want to have an intelligent, open discussion about these said issues. Often I see these 5 terms and others used towards individuals when it doesn't actually apply to what racism actually is, or what sexism actually is. But my point being is that these power words are used and thrown at people to shut down a discussion, and that is not going to happen today in this video, because today I want to tackle the topic of Islamophobia, something that I've never really touched on. I don't call someone homophobic unless they are truly, well, homophobic. Someone who blatantly is prejudiced, hatred, and disgusted by those people who classify themselves as gay. I'm not going to call someone homophobic unless they display actual attributes of what a homophobic person actually is. Like in the same way, I'm not going to call someone an Islamophobe unless they actually display things which are Islamophobic. For those of you who don't know, Islamophobia, phobia equals fear, means hatred, prejudice, discrimination of people who identify as Muslims or who identify with the religion of Islam. Any sort of Islamophobia, transphobia, homophobia essentially means the same thing. Hatred, prejudice, and bias. So before we jump right into discussion, does this offend you?
Who's that Pokemon?
Allahu Akbar.
If that clip offended you, you may want to click off this video because you're probably not going to have an open mind to actually discuss this as a whole. And my channel, my video, is really not a place for any sort of political correctness on any single level. This has nothing to do with me offending you. I'm not going to try to offend anybody in this video. I'm simply going to voice exactly what I think, exactly how I feel, and why this is an issue that needs to be addressed. I'm really sick and tired of people throwing the word Islamophobia around where it doesn't actually apply to the context of what is being said. In my past videos, I did a video where I simply just read the Quran. I didn't even hardly give any context. I just read the Quran, some violent passages in the Quran about beheading people who don't believe in Islam, and so on and so forth, and people were very upset with me. People accused me of being Islamophobic simply for reading the Quran on YouTube. I have a problem when people desensitize words like sexism and racism, and especially rape. That's something that I've talked about in my earlier videos, rape. How I feel as if the word is being desensitized and twisted into some other stupid meaning. Oh, you creepily stared at a woman walking down the street. You are raping me. You know, you're looking at me, you're raping me. These words, these big words that had such a deep contextual meaning, a painful meaning, now means something completely different. We've desensitized these words to apply towards almost everything. And to me, that takes away the true meaning of what the word actually is, and that, to me, is a problem, especially in regards to Islamophobia. One of the biggest things that I've seen is when I critique Islam, when I talk about Islam, when I make a joke about Islam in any way. I can joke about all these other religions, Mormonism, Jehovah's Witnesses, Christianity, but the moment I touch the topic of Islam is the moment that I am brutally attacked more so than any other religion, any other thing that I've ever discussed. The death threats raise exponentially when I talk about Islam. For whatever reason, I'm not quite sure, but I'm not going to let that stop me from trying to have an intelligent discussion or attempt to critique Islam as for what it is. So the whole thing that actually stemmed this video was actually a Twitter exchange that I had with a friend of mine. The point is that I posted this on my Instagram. Am I doing my her thing right? Allah Akbar. Of course, within minutes of this posting, I was accused of being racist, which again, this is simply not the case. I can't be racist against religion because religion has nothing to do with race. You can be in the religion of Islam and be Asian, white, black. Your ethnicity, your skin color does not matter. So therefore, that doesn't make any sense. How me making fun of a facet of Islam therefore makes me racist. It's simply not true. If I could get $1 for every time someone says that I'm critiquing religion, therefore I'm racist, I would be a millionaire by now. But one of the biggest things, only a few people, like 3 people said, including one person that I know personally, said is that I am Islamophobic because of this post. Because I said, Allah Akbar. I am Islamophobic. And here is the thing about that. With that picture posted on my Instagram, this is what was said. What do you expect to happen when you post such obvious Islamophobia? To which I replied, haha, I'm so fearful of anyone who wears a turban. Amazing how upset people get over making a joke out of religious extremists. He replies, not what Islamophobia means. This kind of joke is dehumanizing and makes the world a worse place for Muslims. Okay, first of all, this joke is dehumanizing because I said Allah Akbar. That is what he's telling me, that my joke is dehumanizing to Muslims, which we're not done yet. Let's continue. He goes on to give me the definition of what Islamophobia is, which is hatred, prejudice, and fear against Muslims. I reply by saying, I guess making fun of stereotypes means that I believe them, because one of the things that I commonly like to do is I like to make fun of unrealistic, stupid stereotypes. One of which is the stereotype that anyone who wears a turban is automatically Muslim or a sheik. Anyone who wears a headband is automatically Muslim and a terrorist. This is a negative, stupid, ridiculous stereotype, which obviously I don't believe in and know about. Therefore, I like to poke fun at how stupid that stereotype is by making fun of it. This is a way that a lot of people make fun and make satire and make jokes, is pointing out ridiculous stereotypes by making fun of that stereotype. And yes, I put on a towel on my head to represent some sort of sheik or turban, or from any different culture, Indian culture, Muslim culture, whatever it be, and I said, Allah Akbar. He then replies to me by saying, good satire is empowering and punches up, not down. Use irony to be subversive. That way, if done skillfully, it will be A+. I agree with that last part about using irony to be subversive. But I do not agree about satire always being up, not down. I guess we have a different idea of what satire can and can't be. And then I say this, making a joke about religious extremists is not Islamophobic. We must have a different idea of what one can joke about. And he says this is fucking ridiculous. Like, I was on vacation on my phone, and I was holding back, you know, just saying stuff. And he says this, it perpetuates the idea that Muslims are extremists when they are the tiny minority in Islam. Just makes the lives of Muslims harder. And this is where it gets really interesting, guys. You want to see a double standard clearly produced here? I say this in reply to him. I'm curious if you think the same regarding the small minority of Christians who have bombed abortion clinics. Okay, you see what I'm doing here? I cannot make a joke about Muslims, the small minority of Muslims who believe in radical Islam. I can't do it, because if I do it, it's dehumanizing to Muslims. And the Muslims who do blow people up and do kill themselves are a small minority of Islam. So my reply is, I'm curious if you think the same regarding the small minority of Christians who have bombed abortion clinics. And he says this, which was so predictable, very different. Christians hold great power and aren't marginalized in the US. I'm also from the culture, therefore, I understand it. No, it's no different, and all I was trying to do by simply asking him this about Christians, you know, being a small minority who have bombed themselves at abortion clinics, is that this is a double standard. He will not use the same line of reasoning towards Christians, the small minority of Christians, that if I joke about a Christian bombing an abortion clinic, therefore I'm dehumanizing Christians. No, Christians can't be dehumanized, it's Muslims, because Muslims are the special people. And that's what I have a problem with, is that Islam somehow, with this liberal, super liberal thinking, gets a special pass from people. You can't apply the same reasoning that the small minority of Christians who have bombed abortion clinics, me making a joke about them is not harmful. But me making a joke about a small minority of Islamic extremists is unacceptable and promotes Islamophobia. I'm gonna say it right here, Muslims in the US are not a fucking minority, and the problem is with you saying that is religion is not a, you can't use the minority card with religion, and I mean that sincerely, you can't do that. Religion is a choice that you choose to believe in. Even if your religion has beliefs and things which teach that gays should be stoned, that people who don't believe in Allah or God should be killed, we should still respect Muslims who do believe that? The answer is no. And here's the thing that I should clarify, is that not all Muslims in the US believe strictly what the Quran teaches. I acknowledge that. But if you do believe in what the Quran teaches, and you are Muslim, then you believe these things. And I'm not going to sit here and be politically correct. You can call me Islamophobic all you want, because I know ultimately that I'm not that. What you should be doing is focusing on people who are actually Islamophobic, who actually want to kill Muslims, who want to segregate Muslims, who want not to have Muslims be able to work in the workplace because of their turban or their sheikh or whatever thing that they're wearing on their head. People who are Islamophobic, who don't let someone work because they're religious and believe in Islam. If me putting a towel on my head and saying Allah Akbar dehumanizes Muslims, then by all means, I've been dehumanizing a lot more people than simply Muslims. Muslims are not special. The religion of Islam is not special and should be treated no differently than any other religion in the US or in any other country around the world. It really infuriates me when people give this special card to people of different religions. Stop using words where it doesn't actually apply. What matters most to me is how you treat Muslims or how you treat people in your day-to-day life. They deserve the exact same opportunities that you have, whether you are non-Muslim or whether you're religious. And believe me, if I truly was Islamophobic, I don't think I would save my own money, travel to a country where there was every 5 to 10 miles mosques, and try to help people build houses because their husbands left their wives and their 5 kids to go pursue another wife. And the wife and the children, their father was a devout Muslim who prayed every single day to Allah. I'm not mentioning this because I'm trying to uplift myself. I'm mentioning this because why in the hell would I go to another country where Islam is being practiced all around me, where if I identify myself as an atheist, I could be potentially fucking killed, just to help people who are less fortunate and build houses for them? Why would I do that if I was so Islamophobic? You have to think these things through. I believe in comedy. Comedy is subjective. I don't believe in using comedy and saying, oh, I was joking when somebody gets called out for shit. That's a really common thing people do. Rather, I'm making this video simply displaying that people are using the word Islamophobia where it doesn't actually apply because they are so either right or on the left that political correctness has clouded their mind. You can't make jokes about Islam, but you can make jokes about Christianity. You can't make jokes about a small minority of religious extremists, but you can't make jokes about these small minority of religious extremists because one's more special than the other, right? You know, one religion is more special. No. Treat religions fucking equal. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this video made sense. Please leave your comments down below. I will be reading the comments. I want to have a discussion about this, an honest, open discussion about the topic of Islamophobia.